Today we got a story of a spoiled kid who gets so angry that he doesn't win his class's MVP award that he runs out of class, goes into the bathroom, smashes up all the pipes, and floods the entire school. Yeah, this is a pretty crazy one, so subscribe if you're new, and let's jump right into it. So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Sebastian. So anyways, in Sebastian's class, there was a spoiled kid, and this is towards the end of the year. And by towards the end of the year, I mean like literally the last week of school. Summer break is on everyone's mind. Most of the big tests, projects, quizzes, whatever, all that stuff is done. This is kind of just like the fun little period at the end of school, especially like in middle school, not in college anymore, because in college you have your exams at the very end. But I think at least in middle school, a lot of the times you'll have just like a little week or a couple days at the end of school where it's literally just fun stuff. So anyways, this week was just fun stuff. And one thing that was going down in Sebastian's class was there was like a little fake award ceremony, or I shouldn't say fake, but it's like a little award ceremony or whatever, where the teacher would print out these little, like, I don't know, you know those online certificates that you can go on a website and like put someone's name, put what they're winning, and then have like whatever. And so the teacher would print these out. They'd have a little award ceremony. Everyone would get an award, but there'd be like special ones, like there'd be like most improved, which would go to the student who had like the most improvement in like some subject matter. Like most, like least, I don't know. There'd be like other stuff that you'd win, most attentive, like someone who is like really engaged in class. Another one where it's like, I don't know, best quiz score, whatever. I don't know, just stuff to like congratulate a few people that were really exceptional in the class. And it was really just for fun, and it seriously wasn't a big deal. This wasn't something where all the kids would be like, oh my God, I can't wait to win whatever, right? Well, I should actually amend that, because there was one kid who cared way too much about that, and that was the spoiled kid. Because in the spoiled kid's mind, he deserved to win literally every single award, even though the teacher would never give students more than one award besides the one that everyone got. So they couldn't get more they couldn't be like best quiz score, most improved, and most attentive. Those would all go to different people. But the spoiled kid was the type that would demand to have all of them. So anyways, we're in class, and Sebastian, the spoiled kid, and everyone else, they're sitting around. Remember, it's a fun day. It's almost like summer vacation. You can taste the water slides and the laser tag and the chill nights and going out to the movies. You can taste it, bro. Like, it is so close. So everyone in the class has this kind of buzz of excitement. And finally, it's the day where it's the award ceremony. So the teacher's like, hey guys, I just want to say thank you so much for an incredible year. You all put in so much effort. And I do, like, I notice it. Like, I notice the effort you guys put in, and I really, really do appreciate it. And the teacher's like, all right, well, it's time for, Miss Davenport's annual award ceremony. And she has like the fake award music or whatever that she turns on with her playing on her like iPhone or whatever. So it's like supposed to be kind of corny and funny or whatever, and not that serious. So the first thing is Miss Davenport had everyone come to the front of the class to receive their just a good student award, which was the kind of like the base level one that everyone in the class got. So, Sebastian went up, the spoiled kid went up, and everyone else in class went up single file line. They received their little certificate. It was a class 25 people, so it didn't take forever, right? And everyone would clap for everyone. And she had the graduation music going on, which was pretty funny. But yeah, so everyone went up, and then she's like, all right, well, I also have a few special superlative awards for a few students. And she's like, all right, well, most improved goes to Donovan. Everyone clap for Donovan. So, right, everyone in the class is just remember, super chill, super laid back, and super not serious, right? Everyone's clapping except for one individual. That individual is the spoiled kid because, oh my God, he didn't receive everything he's ever wanted. Mom, come help me. I want to win everything ever. Dude, what? So yeah, sure enough, everyone is pretty happy and clapping for Donovan or whoever won, right? Except the spoiled kid. The spoiled kid gets up and screams, that award should have been mine, which is everyone stops clapping and freezes because I don't know, dude, it just really does. Okay, there's no exception. There's no time you should ever do that. I don't care if you're Kanye West and you're going up on stage telling Taylor Swift that she shouldn't have won at the actual award ceremonies, and I don't care if you're a spoiled kid saying I should have won all the fake superlative awards that are just a little piece of paper that my teacher printed out. Either way, you shouldn't be doing that in any circumstance. Yeah, so it was really awkward for a second as like Sebastian and everyone else in the room was kind of looking. They're like, they're kind of like looking at each other like, this kid's really going way too far right now, bro. Like, what's going on? This is kind of awkward. This is pretty uncomfortable, right? Stuff like that. And so, yeah, Miss Davenport's like, excuse me? And the spoiled kid starts tearing up and runs out of the room. He's like, yeah. And it's just like an awkward 20-second silence as everyone's like, okay. And Miss Davenport's like, all right, everyone, clap for Donovan for winning Most Improved. So everyone just immediately starts clapping, and like it's almost as if they forget that the spoiled kid literally just had a mental breakdown over not winning one of the fake superlative awards or whatever, dude. Like it's seriously not that big of a deal, but of course, the spoiled kid would care way too much about something like that. So yeah, anyways, they completely forget about that. They go through all the other awards. Apparently, like, the spoiled kid was actually going to win one of the awards, and Miss Davenport's like, well, spoiled kid was supposed to win this one, but let me, and she takes out her, like, a pen, crosses out his name, and writes someone else's name, because, one, it's not that deep, who cares, and two, he wasn't there to win the award, and he probably shouldn't have won the award anyways after screaming, I should have won the other award, when someone else won it. Like, dude, not that serious, who cares, right? But yeah, so Sebastian has to go to the bathroom. He has to take a whiz, right? So he raises his hand, says, hey, can I go to the bathroom? Miss Davenport's like, sure. So he gets up and he walks over to the bathroom. Walks into the bathroom, opens the door, and in front of him is the spoiled kid with literally a metal pipe. Bang, 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 bang. He is banging on the pipes in the bathroom with another metal pipe or metal rod that he found. And Sebastian just like opens the door and just freezes for a second because he's like, dude, hello, sir? Like, what's going on right now? And the spoiled kid looks up at him and is like, Sebastian, come help me do this. And Sebastian's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm trying to flood the school. And Sebastian's like, bro, what? Like, huh? Like, why? He's like, this school is the worst, bro. It's like, I mean, you agree with me, dude. I should have won that award. And Sebastian's like, dude, you won a different award, but when you were gone, like, you know, Ms. Davenport was going to give an award to you, dude. Like, you were actually going to win a real award, but, you know, you kind of ran out of the class before she could give it to you. And the spoiled kid's like, well, I'm glad she was a little right, but I should have won all the awards, dude. Don't you think? And Sebastian's just looking at him. Sebastian doesn't totally know how to respond at this point, because he's like, in his head, he's like, no, but I also don't necessarily I don't see what the gain I would get in saying no and trying to argue with this kid who's very clearly not going to pay attention to anything Sebastian says. There's just nothing to gain from arguing with the spoiled kid in this situation. It just doesn't make a lot of sense, in my opinion. So yeah, Sebastian's like, sure, dude, I guess. And then the spoiled kid's like, so excellent. So will you then help me destroy the school by flooding it? And Sebastian's like, dude, I really don't think that's a good idea. If you seriously have an issue with how Miss Davenport gave out the awards, which, bro, by the way, they're not really that big of a deal, but if you seriously have an issue with it, maybe you should go to Miss Davenport and talk to her instead of deciding to run off to the bathroom after being so mad that you didn't win an award in a class, right? That you decide to flood the entire school. Like, remember our teacher last year? Like, you know, I mean, Miss McCallum, like, she was pretty cool. And he's like, spoiled kid, yeah, I guess. But Miss Davenport has ruined the school, so I must teach her a lesson. He goes, bang, bang, bang. He just goes back to banging on the pipes, right? Goes back to banging on the pipes, trying to break into the school pipes to flood the entire school, right? And at this point, so Sebastian is thinking to himself, okay, I should really do something about this. Because the spoiled kid, even though, I don't know, he's not some genius mechanic and he's also not the strongest man in the world, there's a decent chance if he just keeps banging as hard as he's banging with the metal pipe onto the pipe system, there's a decent chance that he might actually, like, flood the school. Like, he might actually get away with it and, like, he might actually break into it. So Sebastian in his head is like, okay, I should probably do something about this, right? So Sebastian's like, bro, I'm going to ask you to stop doing that. And the spoiled kid looks up at him and says, or what, dude? Like, I'm saying you should help me because it's, like, a good cause. And Sebastian in his head is like, a good cause, bro? You're banging on the pipes because you're mad. Like, how is that a good cause? But anyways, right, Sebastian's like, okay, look, I'm gonna go get a teacher if you don't stop right now. So the spoiled kid looks up at him and says, wow, Sebastian, I didn't know you were so for the establishment like that. I didn't know that you liked the establishment and you were for unfairness. And Sebastian's like, dude, what do you mean? I'm not for unfairness. I'm just against you flooding the entire school because you disagree with an opinion. And at this point, the spoiled kid's like, an opinion? It was basically a fact that I should have won all the awards. Like, don't you agree? Sebastian's like, no, dude. He's like, but you said you agreed earlier. And Sebastian's like, yeah, because it was easier for me to say yes, that I agreed with such a stupid statement that you should have won all the awards. Look, bro, Miss Davenport never gives all the awards to one kid. That never happens. Even if she thinks they should all win the award, which, like, yeah, if I'm a teacher and I'm doing like a little dinky award ceremony, yes, I want to give the awards to people who deserve them. But I also want to give them to as many people as possible. Like, it just wouldn't be a fun time for literally everyone else if one kid won every single award. Also, how can you win most improved and also win best average quiz score? There is no way that those two things are going to be in the same category. Most improved implies that you weren't doing well at one point, which also would make it very difficult to have the best average score, you know what I mean? Unless literally everyone had 60s and then you went from 60 to 100, but that's just not how it works, right? So, after trying to be logical with the spoiled kid's like, fine, go get a teacher. There's a good chance I'll flood the entire school by the time you come back. So with this, Sebastian's like, oh, shoot, I got to get on with it then. Yeah, so Sebastian quickly is like, okay. He gets up. He kind of like runs over to the principal's office. There's a faculty member there. He's like, I don't know how to explain this, but there's a kid in the guy's bathroom. He's banging on the pipes because he's trying to flood the school because he's mad about not winning an award. And the teacher kind of looks at him, or the faculty member kind of looks at him with a really strange look. Kind of like, are you sure you're telling the truth right now? Like, are you positive that this is a real thing and not just something that you made up? Because it really does sound like something you just made up. But either way, the faculty member's like, okay, like, I'm going to take this seriously. So they get like another faculty member, because this was like a girl faculty member, so they got a guy faculty member so he could actually go into the bathroom and it wouldn't be too weird. So anyways, all three of them are now running towards the bathroom. And, the spoiled kid is supposedly in there banging away on the pipes, trying to flood the entire school. And Sebastian's like, come on, we have to go quick. We have to go really quick. So they go in there, they open the door, and no one was in there. There were exposed pipes, but that was always the case. And maybe they looked a little dented up, but, since they're exposed in the first place, they're kind of always kind of dented up. But you know who wasn't there? The spoiled kid. You know what also wasn't there? The metal rod he was using to bang against the pipes. So Sebastian's like, I swear, he was in here. And like the faculty member kind of looks at the girl faculty member, and then they look at each other, and then they both look at Sebastian. They're like, Sebastian, are you sure you're telling the truth here? Sebastian's like, I'm sure. Like, why would I want to lie to you? Like, what? It would make no sense for me to make up a story about some kid who wants to flood the entire school. Like, why, how would I benefit from that? And the faculty members are like, we've heard, like, kids make up stuff for attention more often than you think, right? It doesn't always make sense, but attention's attention. And by the looks of it, it looks like there's no kid in here banging on the pipes, trying to flood the school just because he didn't win the thing he wanted to. So at this point, Sebastian's like, I don't know what to say. Like, I was telling the truth, but I guess he isn't here now. And Sebastian's like, well, I did tell him I was going to get faculty member, and so maybe he ran off thinking you guys were coming. And they're like, well, we don't really believe that, but whatever, just go back to class. So Sebastian, feeling a little defeated, but also a little bit confused, decides to go back to class. And at this point, he's kind of expecting that the spoiled kid will be back in class at this point, because where is he going to be? I mean, if he's not in the bathroom, he's probably going to be back in class. But Sebastian enters his class, and the spoiled kid is nowhere to be seen. Yeah, so the spoiled kid, nowhere to be seen in the class. Sebastian's like, oh, so he didn't come back. Sits down. The teacher kind of gives him a weird look because, he asked to go to the bathroom and he was gone for like 25 minutes. But the teacher, look, it was like the last couple days. It was chill. It was low key. The teacher might have been a little confused what he was up to, but also who cares? Like, Teacher wasn't going to try and instigate anything, whatever. So things go on, whatever, life continues. And let me switch POVs for a second. Now I'm switching POVs to the spoiled kid. So basically, right, I got this information. Sebastian says that bits and pieces from like context clues and other people and a lot of other stuff has come together so we can have the POV of the spoiled kid. So the spoiled kid, he was in the bathroom when Sebastian ran off to say, I'm going to go get a teacher. The spoiled kid must have been like, oh, well, I mean, I'm not trying to get caught trying to flood the school, right? I'm just not trying to do that, right? So he must have gotten up, left the bathroom, but instead of going back to class, he just went into the boys' locker room and hid. The only reason that we know that is because another kid, a friend of Sebastian, went into the boys' locker room to get something out of his backpack and saw the spoiled kid hiding there. And he wasn't just like standing in the locker room, because that wouldn't have been weird. The spoiled kid was literally in his locker, like squeezed himself into his locker to hide. So the kid, we're going to call this guy Ben, goes over to him and says, bro, are you good? And he's like, I'm hiding from the ops. Which, like, bro, the ops are what? You mean the teacher who's trying to stop you from flooding the school? So Ben's like, dude, what? Like, what are you saying right now? And he's like, I said I'm hiding from my ops, which are the teachers, because I'm going to go and flood the school. And Ben's like, dude, what? Like, what are you saying right now? He's like, I'm going to flood the school because they're super unfair to me. I should have gotten a really good grade. Or not grade. I should have won all the awards, but I didn't. So they're going to pay the price, and I'm going to flood the school. And the thing is, Ben did not take this kid seriously at all, which, in retrospect, he probably should have, because he may or may not have flooded the entire school. But anyways, yeah, sure enough, he's like, dude, what? Like, what are you saying right now? Like, you're not making a lot of sense. And the spoiled kid's like, you heard me. I'm going to flood the entire school because I did not win every award. And Ben's like, okay, well, I don't believe you, but also don't do that. That'd be stupid. Ben leaves the locker room at this point. So the spoiled kid stays in his little locker for a little bit. Stays in his locker. Locker. Locker is the secret word of the day. So if you made it this far into the video, which is like 17, 18 minutes in, so not that many people will make it this far, comment locker down below so you can see how many people made it this far and to prove that you made it this far. And also, while you're in the comment section, check out the pinned comment, because in the pinned comment, there's a link to the Spotify page, which is where you can listen to these stories. And also, my 2 other channels that I will be posting daily, if not semi-daily on. I have a meme channel, and I also have a Reddit story channel. So stories from Reddit and also reactions to memes. Please subscribe to both those channels with notifications on, and let's get back to the story. So yeah, sure enough, the spoiled kid, at this point, leaves his locker. And he leaves his locker with the metal rod / pipe that he was banging on the pipes with. So he goes back into the bathroom, and he kind of looks both ways, because he sneaks back in, and no one's in there. He goes back, and the pipes at this point, it was really hard when Sebastian and the 2 faculty members walked into the bathroom. It was really difficult for them to tell, because the pipes looked normal, but the truth was, the structural integrity of these pipes, they were on very thin ice at this point. Like, they were really brittle because the spoiled kid had been banging on them again and again and again. And apparently, like, the people who constructed the school did not do a good enough job, especially if a spoiled kid can break down through the pipes just by banging on them. But they were basically 2 to 3 bangs away from completely sliding off. And right. So anyways, the spoiled kid goes up there, goes bang, bang, bang. And on the 3rd bang, the pipes, the section where the 2 pipes connect slips, and water starts pouring out. And by pour, I mean flooding out. Such an intense, it's like, you know, those fire hose streams, almost at the intensity of like a fire hose stream. So water starts pouring out, and the spoiled kid's like, uh-oh. Because I think the spoiled kid was just super mad, and he was just like angry, and he was just like, oh, like, I don't know, like, I'm gonna flood the school out of anger, right? But in reality, I don't think the spoiled kid really wanted to do it. Like, I don't think the spoiled kid really wanted to flood the school because, I don't know, man, there would be pretty big consequences for this. So the spoiled kid sees this and is like, oh crap. So he gets up and he runs out of the bathroom. And here's the thing. The water keeps pouring. So the water keeps flooding out. And so their school, Sebastian, the spoiled kid, like their school is broken up into several different buildings. So this building specifically is not that big. This building is for like 4th, 5th, 6th graders, which they were in that area right there. I think they were 5th graders or something. And there was different buildings for different quads of individuals. So you guys might be thinking, how could the entire school flood if it's like so big? This building was not that big. So immediately, right, water starts rushing out of the bathroom, rushing out from under the door. And the spoiled kid runs back into class. And he sits down, and the class is almost over at this point. So Ms. Davenport kind of looks at him like, hello, sir, where have you been? Because you have not been in the bathroom for like an hour at this point. But yeah, so he kind of just sits down, and he's just kind of like, I don't know, Sebastian looks at him, and he sees the spoiled kid is like almost in a mode of like panic / freaking out. This kid has this super distressed look on his face. And that's when Sebastian starts to put 2 and 2 together that the spoiled kid must have actually done something. Like, why else would this kid look so freaked out? Like, why would this kid look so on edge right now if he didn't just do something that he shouldn't have done? So in Sebastian's head, he's like, wait a minute. Did he actually, like, break a pipe or something? But in Sebastian's mind, if you're to break a pipe, it might, like, dribble out a little bit, but Sebastian was not aware of like how strong the water pressure was in this building. So that's when, right, like 30 seconds after the spoiled kid sits down and looks all distressed, there's on the loudspeaker, there is a, attention teachers, like we need you like to get all of your students outside to make sure that they're all accounted for, single file line. This is not a fire drill. However, we need you to act as if it's a fire drill. So the teacher's like, okay, hi class, like I know we only have 2 minutes left, but looks like we're going outside. So they all get in a single file line and they start walking towards the door. And so there are 2 doors. And there's like one at one side of the building and a door at the other side of the building. So they're walking towards, let's just say the left side. Let's say there's let's say there's a north and a south exit, right? So they're going towards the north exit. And that's when they start getting towards the door and they start to see like a flood, like a rushing wave of water approaching them. And like, they're like, oh my God. And the teacher's like, and that's when on the loudspeakers, like attention teachers, make sure that you do not use the north exit. Make sure you only use the south exit. And that's when the teacher's like, oh shoot. So that's when Sebastian realizes that yes, the spoiled kid did successfully flood the school, and that the water is coming right towards them. Okay, this is not a tsunami, 17,000 foot wave type deal, but this is like rushing water. Like it's not anything too crazy, but it's coming towards them, and it's like a couple inches, but bro, I don't know. It's like it's a couple inches of water rushing at you. So anyways, the teacher's like, all right, class, we're going to go towards the south exit. So they start walking in a single file line, and the whole time Sebastian looks back at him, or looks back, and he sees like water pouring everywhere. And that's when he gets a glimpse very far at the end towards the north of like where the bathroom is, and he sees water pouring out from underneath the bathroom door. And that's when he realizes he was right. The spoiled kid did break the pipe, and that, I don't know, they probably should have listened to him. So anyways, they walk outside the south exit, and sure enough, there's like, so there's a big field behind the school, and all the classes and all the teachers are lined up behind the school. And so they're all lined up there. And so anyways, at this point, they're all lined up, they're all waiting there. And that's when the 2 faculty members that Sebastian found, like earlier, to say, this kid's going to flood the school, walk up to him and say, we need you to come with us. So Sebastian goes up with them, and they're like, oh, so do you know anything about like what happened today? And Sebastian's like, he wasn't trying to gloat, but he's like, guys, I was trying to tell you, this kid was trying to flood the school. And they're like, okay, can you tell us what kid? And he points towards the spoiled kid. And the spoiled kid was sweating buckets at this point. At this point, he realized that 1, he messed up. 2, he went way too far. And 3, he was about to be in big trouble. So sure enough, they go up to the spoiled kid. And the teachers or the faculty are like, we need you to come with us. The spoiled kid's like, I didn't flood the school. I didn't break any pipes. I didn't do any of it. And they're like, we didn't say any of that. He's like, well, I didn't do it. I was just clarifying I didn't do it. I also didn't do a lot of other stuff. I was just being really specific about what I didn't do so you guys would just know all the stuff that I haven't done, obviously. You guys are crazy. Like, you You think I'd flood the school? Like, that's insane. And that's when Ben, the kid who saw him in the locker, literally walks up to them and says, oh, yeah, this kid was in the locker room saying that he was hiding because you guys were after him, and that he, when he was done hiding, was going to go into the bathroom, break the pipes with a metal rod, and yeah. And they're like, the spoiled kid's like, this kid's lying too. I don't even know who he is. Like, James, or Ben is lying. And the teacher's like, didn't you just say you don't know who he is? Why do you call him Ben? He's like, I don't know. That could be his name. Oh my God, is your name Ben? What a funny coincidence. Okay, at this point, it was extremely obvious that it was the spoiled kid. So anyways, more faculty members come over. As the fire department comes over, the plumbing agency, whatever, comes over. Every agency comes over, right? It's a whole thing. Parents are told they have to pick up their kids early because, you know, there's a little bit of a situation going on at the school. Yeah, so after a bit of pressure from the faculty members, eventually the spoiled kid ends up confessing. And so Miss Davenport is brought over, and she's like, why would you, like, flood the entire school just because I didn't get, like, you were going to win one of the awards? And the spoiled kid is like, I deserve all the awards. Miss Davenport, you know it. And he turns to Sebastian. He's like, even Sebastian agreed. And Sebastian's like, I agreed to no such thing, Miss Davenport. He's like, but you said I did. And he's like, and Sebastian's like, yeah, we had a conversation. You asked. I said yes to be polite. And then I said no later on. Why are you ignoring that part? And the spoiled kid's like, well, you were wrong the second time. I deserve to win all the awards, Miss Davenport. And I was just trying to teach you a lesson. And Miss Davenport's like, teach me a lesson? Spoiled kid, you flooded the entire school. And he points to the school. There's like literally water starting to trickle out of the door, the south exit at this point. That meaning it had reached from the north side all the way down to the south side. And he's like, Miss Davenport, I'm sorry, but at least you know better now. And she's like, at least I know better now? Are you serious? Are you serious right now? He's like, I don't know. Like, at least you know. And she's like, I don't know. You, like... Ms. Davenport is not very happy, if you can't already tell. Yeah, so the spoiled kid's parents are called. They immediately show up, and they're like, oh, sorry, we'll write you a check, whatever you need, because spoiled kid came from $1 bajillion, obviously. How's it going, everyone? Today we got a story of a spoiled kid who floods and destroys his entire school. So, yeah, let's just jump right into it. We're going to call the subscriber who submitted this one Gary. So anyways, in Gary's class, there was a kid who we're going to call the spoiled kid. And he was known as the spoiled kid because every single day, it seemed like, maybe not every day, but it felt like every single day, this kid would wear a new outfit. And this wasn't like, I don't know, very standard pair of like $20 pants, you know, $5 t-shirt, maybe, you know, I don't know, maybe nice shoes. Who knows? He was wearing like $1,000 worth of like drip every single day. He would have on like the newest hype beast sneakers. He would have like one of like every single color of like the Yeezy shoes that are like $500 each. Every single day he would have a new like designer Supreme brick type thing. He would have like a new shirt on every single day that was at least $100. And why was it $100? Well, it was $100 because he paid $100 for it. That's kind of how a lot of these brands go. And I used to fall for the hype. I never really bought anything that crazy, but I used to think that stuff was cool back in like middle school, early high school. So like I get it, but like bro was like literally a new $1,000 outfit every single day. And it's not like this guy was some boy genius who created some algorithm that was able to outtrade the market or something. Bro just had parents that, you know, were trying to show affection for him but didn't know how, but they had a lot of money, so they're like, oh, I think the best way to show affection is to just give this guy like unlimited, basically give him a credit card, unlimited spending, and then we will let him spend his way to our hearts. So every single day he would come in with like the newest, craziest, like expensive clothes or whatever. And this was still middle school. This was late middle school, like 7th, 8th grade. But this was still middle school. So this was like, he was known as like, you know, oh my God, that drip is so crazy, bro. It's so drippy. Like it was those type of people. And like, I can't blame him, man. It's middle school. But anyways, it would be kind of okay if this kid did this. Like at the end of the day, you can dress how you want and like, whatever, man, I don't really care. The problem is, though, he wasn't always super cool about it. Like, he wasn't just, like, nonchalant. Like, if you got something crazy on and you're flexing, like, do what you want to do. But you don't have to like make fun of other people for not being able to flex as hard as you. And that is exactly what this spoiled kid did. And part of the reason why he garnered the reputation of the spoiled kid, because he was truly the spoiled kid. But anyways, right? So, one day this all started one day when the spoiled kid was at lunch. And so was Gary, the subscriber who submitted the story. And you can submit stories to my Instagram or Twitter. Just follow me and then DM me your story. The links are in the description. Anyways, Gary was sitting at a lunch table with the spoiled kid. And the spoiled kid was like, started off the conversation talking about the new like drip that he had on today. And he was like, yeah, man, this Bape hoodie, it's like $350, bro. And these shoes, dude, like these are the really limited edition Yeezys. Like I copped these bad boys for like $1,000. And yeah, everyone was kind of looking at him like, okay, like that's cool, man. Congrats for all the accomplishments that you earned. Obviously, that's awesome. Nice. It was a little sarcastic, but you know how it was. And, he was like, yeah. And then the problem was, like, that was already pretty annoying. If you're going around telling people that, oh, you spent X amount of money on your clothes or, oh, whatever, right? Something along those lines. That's already pretty weird. Like, that's already kind of lame. However, it got a lot worse because the spoiled kid went on to look at, like, other people's outfits. And he's like, bro, like, did you even spend a band on those? And he was pointing to someone's, like, Hanes t-shirt. They're like, nah, dude, I got this for $10, but I got a pack of like 10 of these, dude. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And the spoiled kid's like, what? Like, bro, I couldn't be caught dead wearing that. And then you point to another person. He's like, are those ripped jeans even like designer ones? Are those Fear of God ripped jeans? And he's like, no, I actually bought these as normal jeans. They just ripped because I wear them a lot. He's like, oh my God, I couldn't imagine being like you guys ever. And that's when he turned around and pointed at Gary, the subscriber who submitted the story. And Gary's got on those New Balance shoes. And the thing is, New Balance shoes are comfortable. I don't personally have a pair, but like, fine, whatever. And, now like they're actually like kind of having a comeback. Like it's kind of like almost cool if you have them because they were so lame for so long. But they were kind of known as, old man shoes. And like, I kind of dress like an old man sometimes. It'd be like that. But yeah, Gary had a pair of New Balance shoes on. And this happened really when the whole like New Balance shoes or old man shoes wave was like really, really popular. And the spoiled kid is like, are those New Balance shoes? Are those at least the like Supreme X New Balance collaboration? I don't know, man. Supreme collabs with everyone, I guess. So sure, they probably had one of those. And he's like, no, these are just normal New Balance shoes. And after hearing that, the spoiled kid's like, oh my God, those are the worst. You guys need to take some fashion advice from me. And one of the kids is like, bro, like we can't take fashion advice from you. Not that we wouldn't want to, but we literally just can't afford what you're wearing every day. Like it's not up to us. Like we don't get like unlimited spending on whatever we want. Like, our parents will buy us some clothes occasionally, but if we want to buy something that, is kind of out there, we have to like use our own money. And we're lucky to get like an allowance, if that. Like, and one of the kids was like, yeah, I work like, I mow lawns and babysit the entire summer, and I only have like $500 from the entire summer, which is still a pretty substantial amount. But when you compare it to the spoiled kid who routinely probably spends like $1,000 every single day on new stuff, which is ridiculous, but you just can't be dressing like the spoiled kid if you have a reasonable sum of money. You just need an unreasonable sum to be doing that. So anyways, right, the spoiled kid doesn't understand. I think he just doesn't understand that not everyone has unlimited access to a credit card like he does. And he's like, well, you guys should still take my advice and stop dressing like losers. And he gets up and he leaves. So the kids at the table, including Gary, are like, bro, like the kid was always kind of annoying, but this is like a whole new level of annoying. And everyone else kind of agreed, like, yeah, like this kid is kind of going off the rails with this whole act he's been putting on lately. Like this is a little much. This is a little much even for him. And the thing is, I guess one of the kids like at the lunch table, and no one really knows who this kid was, took it pretty personally. Maybe he even wasn't one of the ones that like the spoiled kid, like, I don't know, picked on necessarily, but one of the kids at the lunch table, this is what people think, ended up enacting their revenge, basically. So the spoiled kid, basically the pinnacle of his wasting money was, if you don't know, Supreme, which is it's a brand that like sells stuff for a lot of money. It used to be like a low-key like skater shop, and then it became very mainstream. They sold a brick for like $200. It is basically the pinnacle of like, lol, like I'm gonna troll my parents and spend their money on something ridiculous. If you have one, dude, try and resell it. Get that money back. Put it in an S&P 500 index fund. I know you don't want to hear it. I know that's not cool, but trust me, it's right. Anyways, so the spoiled kid had a Supreme brick in his locker, and every couple weeks he'd remind everyone that he spent $200 on a brick, and that brick is sitting in his locker. And it was basically just like, it sat there just to say, haha, I can spend $200 on a rock, lol. So one of the kids ended up stealing the rug. And let me just say, even though this kid was a jerk, there's no justification from stealing something from someone else. Don't go around doing that. This is not an endorsement. I'm just telling the story. So anyways, I think Gary and his friends were sitting at the lunch table again, and the spoiled kid the next day walks in furious. And it's like, you, and he points to like all of them. Which one of you peasants stole my Supreme brick? It has been sitting in my locker every single day, and today I came in and my brick is gone. Just so you know, stealing is a federal offense, and I will take you to court unless you cough it up right now. And even if you do, don't expect me to be nice about it. And everyone kind of looked at each other. They're like, no, we didn't take that thing. Like, why would we want a brick? He's like, because it's worth $200 plus in a resale. I tell you guys every single day, you know how much it's worth. And in all fairness, they did know it was like an expensive brick. But like Gary wasn't the one who took it. And after the spoiled kid left, they kind of like talked with each other, and no one coughed up or confessed to taking it. So maybe not even someone at the lunch table stole the Supreme brick, but someone did. And it's a pretty good guess to say someone at the lunch table stole the Supreme brick, because like they were like probably one of the ones who like he was extra mean to, but he was probably a jerk to everyone. Real quick, comment brick down below if you made it this far into the video. I'm bringing back the secret word of the day. I'm just making them really quick. Anyways, so the spoiled kid the next day comes around back to the lunch table and says, you guys don't understand. I will be enacting my revenge unless the Supreme brick is back in my locker by the end of today. And everyone at the lunch table kind of looks at him and is like, dude, I don't know. Like, I don't know about, like, bro, we don't know. We don't have it. I don't know how else to put it. That Supreme brick, we don't want a brick that has a logo on it. Like, we do not care, dude. We do not care. And at this point, the spoiled kid is just so angry about it. He's just like, you don't understand who you're messing with. You don't understand. He said, and I'm going to say it once more. If the Supreme brick is not back in my locker by the end of the day, you will all suffer the consequences. And they're like, cool. I hope whoever took it puts it back, I guess. And he's like, you guys will see. You will all suffer. And he like storms out, and they all kind of look around. And once again, Gary's like, hey, did anyone actually take it? Like, I know he sucks, but probably shouldn't steal. And they're like, yeah, no, why would I want a brick? Like, that's so stupid. And also, if someone found me with that brick, it would be obviously not mine, because why would I spend $200 on a brick? That's stupid. So they all agreed that none of them took it, even though Gary still thinks that one of them did, but he still doesn't know to this day. And the rest of the story, Gary was not personally there for, but, word got out pretty quickly. And I'm basically going to tell it as if Gary saw it. However, Gary learned about this from other people. So basically, the spoiled kid did not end up receiving the brick by the end of the day. So he decided to go home and try and enact revenge. Try and get a way to get back at everyone for stealing his brick, because that brick meant a lot to him and nobody knows. And so the spoiled kid goes back home, and he thinks, and he basically has a brainstorming session of just trying to figure out how to, like, get revenge. And that's when he figures it out. So basically, right now, his parents have a lot of random stuff. And one thing that his parents have are fireworks. And once again, disclaimer, please, do not do this. Do not replicate this. It would be ridiculous if you did. For the love of God, do not do this. Anyways, he brings his fireworks to school. Once again, do not do this. I do not condone this. You're an idiot if you do this, and you deserve all the punishment that you'll get. Anyways, I'm just the storyteller. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just the messenger. Anyways, he brings his fireworks to school, and he has them in his backpack, and before school even starts, like a little bit before, he goes to the boys' bathroom, and he waits for everyone to leave. And that's when he gets like so it's like one of those like he like sets like there's certain type of firework that like I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know if you guys saw that like Simpsons episode where Bart basically like floods the entire school by dropping some kind of explosive type thing in like the toilets. The way that the spoiled kid did it was exactly like how it was done on The Simpsons. He saw that episode like weeks ago, and that's how he thought about it. So I don't know if these were like, I don't even know if they were fireworks, but they were some kind of something that was like play explosives, like they were supposed to be for show. But the spoiled kid basically brought a bunch of them, shoved them all down the toilet system. Some of them went down the drains, and they basically went in, and then boom, they all exploded, did whatever they need to do. And what I'm trying to say is somehow the entire drainage system got so messed up that the system basically exploded. And like pipes, and this is where, go back to Gary's POV for a second. Gary's sitting in class, and he hears some like rumbling. It's almost as if like a bunch of water is flooding around, right? And he's like, what? Like, that's a really weird sound. And that's when Gary looks up at the wall. So Gary's sitting in class, he looks up above him. And you know when like the stain of water, like it gets like, water stains, like it gets like dark or whatever, like gets damp. He sees the ceiling start to get damp in real time. Like water starts to spread on the ceiling in real time and spreads really quickly. And Gary's like, and he raises his hand, and the teacher's like, yes, Gary. And Gary literally points to the ceiling, and he sees like water starting to spread all across the ceiling. And then at the very corner of the classroom, like the ceiling starts to bend down because like water starts to collect at the very corner. And then boom, part of the ceiling bursts and water starts pouring down. And the teacher's like, oh, wow, guys. And then all of a sudden, boom, fire alarm goes off. I think someone just pulled it to get everyone out of the building. People start rushing out. And as Gary's rushing out, he sees water spilling all across the place. Like it is a disaster. So Gary's standing outside, and it is just like, as he was walking, basically the entire school got flooded. The entire thing is just like water's pouring everywhere. The whole drainage system is a mess. And the spoiled kid would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for some kid who saw him do it. And the thing is, the spoiled kid has such a bad reputation that this kid's like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to tell on this kid. I literally do not care. So yeah, basically this kid had eyewitness account that it was the spoiled kid, and for that reason, they were able to kind of like search his belongings, and they saw wrappers, basically proof that he had some kind of like firework type thing or something. And also when they did an autopsy on the school, they saw that, you know, there were like whatever type thing that he put down the drain to make that happen. The spoiled kid had it in his backpack. There's a direct connection. And for that, I think the spoiled kid, understandably, was expelled from the school because bro tried to flood the entire school successfully. And yeah, from that point on, no one ever returned the Supreme Brick. And after that, like, it was like weeks. Like they had, after a couple weeks of like really weird like online school, this was before Zoom. So it was like Google Hangouts, and it was very strange. And they had a lot of time off too. They relocated to like another camp, or like a makeshift campus. So they like the school system like rented out a building or whatever. The classes were like not in a school building. It was very weird for the rest of that year. Thankfully, they only had like a month or two left, and they were able to go back to the original school like the next year after like months and months and months of renovation. And basically, it cost like the school system cost the school district like millions of dollars probably. And yeah, the kid was gone. He was expelled. Never saw him again. I think his parents decided to move districts just so that like they wouldn't be held accountable or whatever, or just try and get out of there. They probably had to do something or whatever. And they definitely had the money to help fund it. And yeah, to this point, to this day, apparently Gary has never seen the spoiled kid ever again. Moral of the story is, do not flood your school. I think that was obvious, but just in case it wasn't, yeah, that's the moral. Don't do that. Bye. Click on the video on screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it. Do it.